Welcome to another episode of Broker's Playbook. This is Simeon Papailias, and today I am joined by a good friend of Broker's Playbook from SaleFish. Danny Leck, welcome to Broker's Playbook, my friend.
Yeah, thanks for having me today.
Danny, I want to get everybody up to speed. We spent the last few minutes chatting, and you're up to a lot of interesting things. SaleFish is up to a lot of interesting things. For those who don't know Danny and for those who don't know SaleFish, give me a little bit of an introduction on yourself, because you're a cool cat with your music and kind of your entire AI and PropTech background. But let's start with SaleFish, because today is about really highlighting a company that's looking to create what we like to call on Broker's Playbook, something that's good for real estate. And that's why you're here. What is SaleFish? Where did they start? Where are they now? And what do you see in their future?
Yeah, definitely. So, SaleFish before my time, it really was a application designed to help salespeople stop making mistakes. And what I mean by that is architectural controls was where it began. So SaleFish, a team of architects, and that was one of the problems that they were running into in the construction phase. So salespeople, for example, selling the wrong lot with the wrong home model, a mistake that you don't really see often today. But going back 20 years, that was a big problem for some of the sales teams in just terms of organizing their workflow. So they put that together as an application. And then over the last 20 years or so, they've really developed that as a streamline application for sales offices and sales centers as well.
So SaleFish's audience is the builder and development community,
Yep.
but it also services the needs of realtors directly. People like myself use the platform to locate, analyze, and look at real estate.
Yeah, definitely. So what we've done recently is really connect that inventory, that pricing to a portal where agents can access it, so they can now see pricing in real time. It really saves them from having to go from sales center to sales center. And then one thing that's really unique with our system is it's a little more than just viewing inventory. Agents can actually put through an offer and they can fully transact right on the platform. So that allows them to, go from a buyer who may be struggling in the resale market, can't have, find a home in specific affordability. They're now able to pull up an app from their back pocket after a showing, and they can actually show their buyers a ton of new inventory as well as what's on the MLS.
And that's, to me, that's the biggest opportunity for the agent community. The fact that resale agents, and I don't want to talk about pre-construction at all, because to so many, it's just not an option, or they're not interested because they don't understand it, etc. Pre-construction inventory turns into inventory.
Yeah.
And right now in this market, we have a tremendous amount of opportunity in that space with builders who are willing to work with agents and their clients to get homes sold.
Oh, definitely. And the incentives that they're providing as well are massive. So things that you've never seen before, up to $25,000, where they're giving agents the option to say, you can extend this to your purchaser, or you can have an extra $25,000 in your pocket. So there's a lot of cool incentives that builders are providing out there as well.
What would you say the top 3 value proposition items are that SaleFish provides the agent? What are the top 3?
Yeah, definitely time saver. So they can now spend, time where they traditionally would be driving around. They can spend that with different functions. The other piece is knowing what's available, what the price point is. So now, opposed to having to look at dated price lists or getting misinformation, they can be ensured that everything that they look at is all in real time, and it's the price that was set that day by the sales team. So there's no confusion or misinformation. And then thirdly, just the ability to close out that transaction and seeing that the sale's been completed. So whether or not it's sitting in limbo mode or the sales team goes right through to approve the transaction, they can see it every step of the way and have real-time visibility to it.
That's amazing. What is your favorite part about let's start with PropTech. What drew you to PropTech? And then I'm going to ask you, how did you end up with SaleFish? Because it's truly a great platform, and they are looking to really affect some change.
Yeah.
What brought you to PropTech in the first place?
Yeah, so I've always been a fan of technology. It really goes back to when I was working at Bell. Basically, I was selling a system which was called field to base. And all that was at the time was for anybody working out in the field. It was a way for those individuals, whether it be delivery services or just site planning, anything like that. All we were doing at the time is taking those forms and digitizing them into the app so that they wouldn't have to go back to the office at the end of the day and drop that off. So when you did a calculation on just fuel costs from driving from the site back to the office, not to mention the office manager that was just riddled with paperwork at the end of the day, that was a product that I found hard to push just based off user adoption. So one day I was just complaining about how challenging it is to change a user's behavior. And someone I knew at the time was in starting a startup in real estate. And he said, this is kind of what we're doing for the real estate industry. Would you like to give it a shot over here? And I kind of said, I don't know anything about real estate. I'm in a pretty good place here. I don't know if I want to just jump ship. So basically I spent about 2 weeks just going through the application, trying it out, and just my understanding of real estate just after using the technology for 2 weeks, I was able to do a full presentation, and they basically put an offer out and said, this guy kind of looks like he knows
this
what
was
he's
the previous
about.
company you were with.
Yeah, so this was a startup called Avesto.
And Avesto grew to be a massive company as well.
Yeah, definitely. So that was, in the days where I would sit in a meeting and they'd say, Danny, we used to use typewriters for our agreements.
It's true.
Things that I just couldn't believe that, as much money as in this industry, that technology was still kind of behind. So
technology is still very much behind in real estate. Real estate is probably one of the most archaic of all industries because the users in it are all so resistant to change. And I'm not talking about realtors. I'm talking about brokerages. I'm talking about realtors. I'm talking about lawyers. I'm talking about insurance companies and their professionals. Because it's all so intertwined and dependent on each other, if the lawyer won't accept a DocuSign, there's no point in doing a DocuSign.
Exactly.
So it was COVID that really propelled the real estate industry forward. There was more change in the real estate industry during COVID than there was in the 50 years prior combined. Yeah. So tell me then, so you were with Avesto, which is, again, another great company. I've met and spoke with a few of the ownership group. But you've made a change and you're at SaleFish, which is, again, they're at the cusp of building something great. Tell me about what you valued in making that change.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my prediction at the time, this is going back 2 years ago, was, Avesto was very condo focused. Mm-hmm. They didn't have the intricacies that you needed for, say, low-rise and single-family communities. So when it came to integrating with third-party softwares or other providers, we ran into a lot of challenges just moving from, say, the high-rise space into the low-rise space, where that, limitation really got me thinking about other opportunities out there. So I decided to make the shift, predicting that, the condo market would be somewhat challenging and single-family is probably the way to go. So
you're being very nice talking about the condo market.
Yeah.
The condo market is challenging indeed. In that space, you are in the new construction space, no matter how you cut or dice it. What do you see as the biggest disruptor in the next couple of years from an AI perspective? Tell me a little bit about AI and how this is all coming into the space.
Yeah, definitely. I think with AI, the possibilities are limitless. So I think we're moving into an era that has been overlooked in terms of data security and just protection of data, how important that's going to be over the next few years. Because there's a lot of things with AI we just don't quite know yet. But one thing I can say for certain is your data protection and just who has access to that data is going to be very important for your business and your growth. I think we're going to run into a lot of scenarios where knowledge may not be a limitation to a company or an individual. It's going to be execution.
Implementation.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break. When we return, I do want to speak a little bit more about AI and how we can implement it into our businesses today. I also want to speak about how to tie in some of these technologies to our actual business. So it's one thing to know that AI is cool, but how do we use it? Stay tuned. Welcome back to Broker's Playbook. I am here with Danny Leck, and we finished off bringing up AI. And of course, over the break, I have so many questions, Danny, so many questions. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts on how AI is integrating today, because everybody says we are in that neophyte version of AI still, and the craziness is way yet to come. Are you scared of AI? Are you empowered by AI? What is your feelings on it, and how do you think it's going to impact real estate?
Yeah, I think it's really going to be the new tool that everybody uses. And, like any tool, it's how it's being used is how it's going to impact society. So I think from a real estate perspective, I did a demo just for my company on how easy it is for ChatGPT to search the MLS and actually put together an investment portfolio for me. So this AI basically was able to find different listings on the MLS within a price range of 400,000 to 600,000. It could even draft the letter to the bank for me that I should put in for my mortgage as well. So it gave me a full strategy, outlined everything.
Hold the phone right now. Tell me the prompt. Tell me the tools you used. I want to search the MLS for my clients for properties between 400,000 and 600,000.
Oh, definitely.
All right.
Yeah.
How do you do this?
So it's a little more than just say one prompt. So with ChatGPT, for example, you can put together a persona of what you want that essentially AI to do. So in this scenario, this AI is an expert in finding investment properties in the GTA. This persona has my best interest as the investor at hand. So I could also tell the AI to be manipulative and do something selfish. So it's also important in terms of how you train that AI to actually implement that information. So, this one is more of an honest searcher, has the buyer's best interests, and it basically it will search the MLS.
But how does it search the MLS?
The same way I would as a person. So it just basically goes to the website. It can pull in the listing details, the price points, all that information.
But is there technology that's connecting it? Because I might not be real old, but I'm not real young either.
Yeah.
Who's clicking the filters?
So the AI basically goes and pulls that information. So think of the AI as the brain. I kind of think of it as the brain of the internet. Everything that's on the internet, that's just what it knows. And that's how it's been trained. And that's kind of the information it takes in.
Do you see, this is why people are scared of AI.
Oh, definitely.
You understand it so wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out who's clicking the filters through the menus of the website, but you're saying AI is in the website. It doesn't need to go through filters because it already has its orders.
Because it understands the code behind it. So its interpretation is different than, say, a person.
Very exciting, a little gross, I'm not going to lie. So it can literally do that in minutes, seconds?
Seconds. So I think in 47 seconds, it was able to kind of combine all these tasks. And now we're getting to a point where it's becoming agents. So if you've ever heard of agents online, so, Microsoft, kind of the large tech companies, Google, Meta, they're all investing in this type of technology. And this is, to me, the scary part. It's not just a learning model anymore. It's now an actionable item. So it can actually take action on the information and not just provide information to you.
Incredible stuff.
Yeah.
Your favorite prop techs, because if I were to go down the AI world right now, like, you have me completely boggled, so I'm not. I want you to tell me your 3 top platforms. What is your go-to for prop tech?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm going to be a little biased on the SaleFish side because I find that system, it helps out a lot of parties involved with the transaction. It's not one of these tools that's just for presentations or just for running reports. It kind of combines everything into one system. And it's kind of a nitty gritty product behind the scenes, which is why I like it. It's not necessarily the flashy product, but it will plug into a flashy product to provide that advanced functionality. So that's a great tool. The others that I like is not to be biased that I'm also on the show, but Broker's Playbook, what you guys are doing from an investment standpoint, I think it's a great tool for agents who may not understand the market or even know about the investing history. It gives them some great data points where they can go in and learn and just understand what's going on.
I truly believe that potentially a collaboration with SaleFish is inevitable. If you guys, and again, I'm going to speak to obviously the entire leadership group. We already have started talks, but to have that inventory, you guys have inventory for the sake of inventory because it's there. We look at that inventory from only one lens, and that's the investment focused lens. That's our niche. We're not for everyone. You are for everyone. But we look at it in a very specific light, and we apply investor metrics. So I love the fact that your favorite platform is yours, because I'm actually a huge fan of the platform. That's why we're here, because I think we need to share this to the world. But you bringing in kind of the Broker's Playbook play on it, it's true because it's a direct link. Like, you can apply what you learn on Broker's Playbook directly to that inventory and help do more transactions.
Exactly. Yeah.
So give me one maybe I'm not going to say not real estate related. It can be real estate related. What is a tool that you feel an agent should not be living without?
I'm going to have to say definitely an AI, as in terms of ChatGPT. It could be as simple as, how do I better increase my marketing strategy? This is something that ChatGPT could help you with. So you could feed it, data. You could say, here's what I've done over the last 2 years. Where's areas for improvement? So it's going to show you blind spots that you never even would have seen without it.
That's incredible. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, let's talk a little bit about how to market yourself as an agent. And if you're doing so with intent, how do you use AI? How do you use SaleFish? How do you use market things that are established in the market for your success? We'll be back in a second. All right, beautiful people from coast to coast, to my brothers and sisters in the business. I just had my small, tiny mind blown by Danny when he shared what AI is doing for people like himself. You have another cool story. Maybe we'll get into that in a second,
Yeah.
But I don't want to come off our trajectory. The future of real estate includes AI in a big way. I asked you for your top 3 picks for PropTechs. You said obviously SaleFish, that's your organization, and I believe that. You said Broker's Playbook for adding the investor metric and the investor lens on things. Thank you for that. But then I asked you for something completely outside of our companies, or maybe something so in the weeds. And you said hands down AI. What is the future of the real estate transaction to you? Where do you see things going? Because you're with a company that's developing it, the future of the real estate transaction. You're sitting down with a host of Broker's Playbook who is building AI-based investor metrics. Where do you see the everyday transaction? How do you see AI impacting the end user? What about the 72-year-old retired principal? She worked her whole life. She does not understand AI. What does her world look like? How do you think that's going to integrate?
Yeah, well, I think the big difference with technology that we're moving into is if you go back 10 years, if you weren't tech savvy, you couldn't use a computer. Or if you couldn't type, you'd slam the laptop shut before finishing the email. But we're moving into an era where natural language is now going to be understood by machines. So I don't have to be tech savvy in order to execute specific tasks.
Really high-end tasks.
Exactly, yeah. So you can just now speak, regular language, And although there's, some training required, we're still kind of in this growing stage of AI. It's going to be able to just take what you said and execute on that accordingly, and come back with tangible results. And I think that's going to be the big change, is an AI coming back to you with a signed contract, for example.
Now I will get into something personal, because you just mentioned how personal it can be. If you don't know how to type, forget about it. Speak to it, because it understands you. Mm-hmm. The machine understands you. You have taken that to a different level personally. Tell me a little bit about, obviously you're a prop tech, I'm not going to say nerd, but you love prop tech.
Oh, yeah.
And you love tech. Tell me about what you've taught your AI to do, because I think it's cool as shit. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, a hobby, a passion of mine is I've always been into music. So, before kind of career and everything like that, I used to play shows, raise money for charities through music. So it was really big into that scene, but, eventually you don't make it. You've got to put the boots on and go get a job and,
Sure.
and figure out life. So what I've done recently is I've kind of just gone back to those passions of music production. I wasn't a big artist, but I do enjoy art. I just can't draw myself. That's more of one of my wife's talents. So what I've done now with AI is I've kind of trained it to do the things that I can't. So how to draw, and basically now I can copy and paste a song I write, and it can prompt a full scripted visualization of almost an AI music video. So that's something that is pretty cool.
Repeat that.
So
you write a song.
Yep.
You copy and paste it into the AI.
Yep. And then based off the lyrics of the song, it will put together visualizations. So it will say, for verse 1, here are the 4 photos that you should use for the music video. Here's the 4 photos you should use for the chorus. So it scripts out a full, basically, music video, and then it generates all the artwork.
And are these special bots, or is this ChatGPT?
So ChatGPT, but it's tailored with a persona of, here's how I want you to draw my artwork. Here's the record label that you're producing the artwork for. So everything that it generates is basically focused for Danny AI, for example.
So now bringing it back, thank you for sharing that, because it's as I said, it's cool as hell. But this is where it went exactly where I wanted it to go, because this was my agenda in my head. This is all about prompting. Mm-hmm. People think they're going to open ChatGPT and it's something magical is going to happen. And it's just not the case. No. ChatGPT needs to learn who, why, where, what, all and every single thing. The more you tell it, the better it gets. What would you suggest? Forget real estate professionals for a second. What would you suggest to anybody? How do they get their heads wrapped around creating prompts, personas? How should they look at AI? Like, get their expectations going. Like, they open it, they purchase the paid version. What's next?
I think when you're using it, so always think of the outcome or the result that you're trying to achieve. So I find when you're getting into prompting, you can start feeding it information, but you may not even know what the prompt is to get the result that you need. So a prompt could just be a question, is what is the prompt to obtain X result? So then it will create its own prompt to then prompt itself to help you get to that conclusion. So there's lots of ways where if you don't know what to do, by asking it what to do, it will formulate a response and kind of guide you through those steps.
Starting with the end and having the machine even do the reverse engineering.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot to get my own little head wrapped around this thing, Danny. I'm being honest with you.
It's a rabbit hole.
It's a rabbit hole. It is a rabbit hole, but I love it. Yeah. The vision for the future for SaleFish. What are you working hard in doing? What do you want to see by the end of next year? I don't like to ask tomorrow. Give me your 1 year vision for where you want to see SaleFish this time next year.
So, being mindful that we do have the most secure platform in real estate. We'd love to advance AI technologies. It's just what you'll hear in this AI talk quite often, if you go down that rabbit hole, is just utilizing it in a way that's safe and essentially good for humanity. So, incorporating AI into our potentially reporting. So this way you can just ask it a question. Where are my blind spots in, the last sales report? What should we do to adjust? Here's my marketing report. What are your recommendations? It can put together those calculations and say, hey, we can see that you'd be better off investing another 10 grand in Facebook marketing, for example. So that's, technology that
It can go that far, and it does already.
It does already, but
it's incredible.
The big talk at SaleFish is security. So how do we utilize these technologies without putting our clients at risk? And I think that's going to be the big shift in our business is when we move into these technologies. Last month, October, was cybersecurity month. I always hate kind of putting out those types of posts, very dry, very boring. But I think in this new era, infrastructure security is going to be, other than AI, that should be another focus and priority as well.
That's amazing. So by the end of next year, you want to see growth with security as the North Star. Mm-hmm. That's kind of where you're at.
Safe implementations of AI technologies.
From an engagement and user front, where are you guys at? Where do you want to be?
So I think, we have a long way to go. But I find what we've done is really open up our API. So right now we're really focused on connecting with other service providers, other applications out there. So I really see SaleFish as the backbone of the real estate industry, kind of doing all the nitty gritty.
I love that.
Nobody wants to do. Nobody wants to do the legals. Nobody wants to do the security, but it has to get done.
And I'm telling you, that's a solution that me as a founder for my own purposes, I think there's great value in it.
Yeah.
So I really am curious to see how we shape our futures and our collaborations. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, definitely.
Last but not least, my man, I've picked your brain on a lot of things. Give me maybe your top 3 actionable takeaways. People today listen to this show. Maybe we intrigued them with some of this AI stuff. What do you think are the top 3 things that people should do today to get their business to the next level? Is it check out a specific technology? Where do you see upside in using AI and or technology, PropTechs, to elevate?
Yeah, definitely. I think now's the time where you have time in your day to actually go out there, explore the different technologies that exist. It's a fast moving environment. So I think, number one takeaway is if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. And by lose it, I mean, there's other people out there are going to be adopting these technologies. They're going to be looking at ways that they can improve their business. So that's just something that I think every agent should be doing.
Give me something as it relates to existing process and using something that you've mentioned. Like, again, we'll go back to AI. How can a resale agent increase their market share or influence in their market using AI?
So one that I'm using is just reviewing my Google Analytics, for example. So Google Ads, where are the pitfalls? Where am I targeting? Actually just copying my report right into ChatGPT, and it's giving me that insight into my marketing strategy. It's also putting together, if this is where you want to be, here's what I recommend in terms of actionable items for you to do over the next 6 months. So it puts together a full actionable plan. The next step is actually taking that and doing the work. So I think with agents, if you don't know what to do, we're in an era where the information's out there. So go find the information, understand the information. If you don't, lots of resources to ask questions. And then secondly, put the work in and make it happen.
My very last question to you. Where do people find you? How do people get a hold of you?
Yeah, easy one to find. So you can find me right on the SaleFish website. You can also find me the AI version, which is Danny AI Studios on YouTube. And or you can send me an email and I'll reply anytime.
My man, thank you for coming onto the show.
Yeah, definitely.
Appreciate you. Appreciate your insight. I look forward to a very long-term collaboration, my man.
Yeah, sounds good.
Chat soon. For everyone listening, thank you for tuning in. This was a great episode of Broker's Playbook.